All right. It is the Illini Basketball Podcast. Yeah.
I,
Episode
I know you do a
118.
lot, so you don't remember, but
Well, I don't really have a signature intro for this show. So I just kind of
okay.
just throw whatever at the wall I can. That's not a good sentence, but it's like 6 a.m. for me right now because I've been getting up at like noon every day for like 4 days, and then getting up at
Yeah.
9 is a big chore.
Yeah.
So
So you're not like in the early morning podcast.
I
Is that what
mean,
you're saying?
that's cool. I think it's a nice thing for the fans, right?
I
Yeah, I
guess
don't know. Well, there's
fans
there's a
probably
lot
enjoy it more than we do.
there's a lot to talk about in this because we have like 20 pages of stuff, so we should probably get into it.
Yeah. Let's get into it. Probably the biggest news since the last time we had one. How long's it been? About a month. That's about how it's been working.
I think the
3 weeks. Look at
21st, the
us.
21st was our last one, so yeah.
So, yeah, the biggest news, Dra Gibbs-Lawhorn commits to Illinois. We talked about him on the last one. 2023 kid, 4-star. He's a 6'1" guard. Right now, he's 68 nationally on the On3 consensus, the number 14 point guard in the class of 23. And he picked Illinois after decommitting, like we said, from Purdue earlier. He picked Illinois over Memphis and Indiana. He's from Lafayette, Indiana originally. He played with the Indy Heat over the summer, averaging 16 points per game, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.5 steals, shot 48% from the field, 38% from 3. So shooter that can also handle the ball very well. This year, I think he's playing with Mount Verde Academy down in Florida. So a good get for Illinois. Tim Anderson continues to just land guy after guy. So far, Tim Anderson's got Sky Clark, ZZ Clark, Ty Rogers, Terence Shannon Jr., Matthew Meyer, and now Dra Gibbs-Lawhorn. So
Why did he not go to Purdue?
I don't know why he decommitted from Purdue. I never found that. I don't want to speculate for the kid. So
does it have something to do with maybe the guards that they already have there? Or I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I think the bigger question with all
you don't
this
think
is,
Illinois has good guards though?
yeah, but you know how it is. The bigger question overall, I think, is when does Calipari steal Tim Anderson? I think is the
That's
big
true.
question.
That's true. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
He's too busy scheduling like all these home and away series for like the next 20 years with Gonzaga and all those teams. So.
Indiana, I think they're scheduling one with Indiana. So
why not come to Brad Underwood? We'll play him. We're not scared. We'll play him. We'll play him on their floor right now.
That's right. That's right. Dre told On3, quote, "I ultimately chose Illinois because they jumped into the opening of my recruitment early and hard and prioritized me. Coach Underwood is an intense coach, so I think he will bring the best out in me. They believe in me more than anyone else, and they showed that." So Illinois, again, like we said, they kind of pick the guys they want, and they go really hard after them. He said to Illini Nation, quote, "Illini Nation is getting a hardworking combo guard that can do it all on defense and offense. I'm the type of player that's going to go out and give it my all and get what's mine." So he's going to go out and get what's his, I guess. Pretty impressive. Illinois went from basically nobody committing to the class of 23, and now they have number 13 nationally, according to ESPN. So all within a matter of months, getting Hansberry and then Gibbs-Lawhorn. So pretty cool that they're getting going. So Jay, good morning. My dog is gonna freak out here in a minute, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing real flashy with the class of 23, I wouldn't say. Hansberry and Gibbs-Lawhorn, a couple of solid players. They're not going to be your top 20, your top 30 guys probably, but they're, both 4-stars. So who knows what happens with Zachary Perrin, but he's still part of that class.
True.
So
that's true. I guess he kind of counts right now, but
they should also stop the count on 2024 because Illinois is number 2.
True. But Illinois might add somebody, so
Number 2 with a
they could
3-star
be
and a
number
4-star.
one. Could be number one. So, good get for Illinois. Another guard to come in, and should be exciting. So, I just threw this out there. Ayo Dosunmu was announced as the starting point guard for the Bulls this year. So pretty cool for him. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures, but his face is basically plastered on the wall at Ubin now. It's Ubin, right? Not Ubin.
Sure.
You're super helpful this morning. Thank you. Appreciate it. And then there was questions of who the other guy was. Some people were saying that it's LeBron Black, which would be really weird, but it is what it is. And then you told me that Mike Woodson said he doesn't even know who Ayo Dosunmu is.
Yeah, I think Mike Woodson doesn't know ball. I think that's the takeaway. He doesn't know ball, I guess.
Yeah. Jay says Dra Gibbs has some swagger to him. I like him. I've seen a couple of videos with him. Yeah, he said he said he's not a shy person, and he's excited to get on campus. So, he seems to be like that kind of guy. So, Illinois makes the top 10 for James Brown. James Brown also listed Buffalo and Eastern Michigan in his top 10, along with literally every school that you could think of: Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan State, Notre Dame, North Carolina, Duke, and Missouri. So
he's coming to Illinois.
Let's hope he comes to Illinois. That would make that 24 class really good. So I think that's kind of the next big guy that Illinois is going to be going after pretty hard. So Jay says, where is Kofi? Did the Jazz release him? Can't find much about him on the internet. I haven't heard anything on Kofi lately. Have you?
Coming back to Illinois.
Is he?
Yep.
Coming back next year?
Yep.
He's got 1 year of eligibility left.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Let me see here.
You all right? I know it's early.
The Jazz are still weighing their decisions for who to cut, I think.
Okay.
So, I mean, as long as they can just trade Jordan Clarkson to the Suns and then get that out of the way, then they can make some other moves and maybe bring Kofi back. But I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what this article says. I don't see anything about Kofi, so I don't know. Maybe he's not. Maybe he quit. We don't even know.
Could have been making a million if he would have came back to Illinois. But
it's true.
Underwood probably kicked him off the team, so who knows? Brad's been talking to the media.
Not us.
Not us. They had a after practice press conference, like a weekend of practice. And then media day was this week, I believe Tuesday or Wednesday this week. But John Fanta also asked him who he saw making a major leap this year. And John said, without hesitation, he said RJ Melendez, who is literally not listed on anybody's breakout thing. So it's good to know that Underwood thinks that'll break out. He said, quote, he found out how tough it was as a freshman to compete, but now he's ready. He's such a gifted scorer and elite athlete.
I don't understand that quote.
Why?
He came in, like, every chance he had, he played really well and competed easily.
I think that Brad means he found out how hard it is to play as a freshman in Brad Underwood's system.
Sure, why not? Brad's just he's talking about Pajemski here, okay?
RJ also landed in NBA mock draft of Jonathan Wasserman of the Bleacher Report. He has him going number 37 overall, and he said that if Melendez continues to make threes and deliver high IQ passes and convert tough drives in a much bigger role, he'll have a better chance. Wasserman did not name any other Illini in his. I believe in ESPN's, like, Meyer is in it. Terence Shannon Jr. and Coleman Hawkins, but in this one, he only has RJ. And then your boy Andy Katz, he picks no breakout stars for Illinois this year in his top 25. He had your boy Chris Murray as number 1, along with everybody in the world, apparently. He has Cliff Amori. I can't ever say his name. Amoriu.
No.
Amori.
Omarui.
Anyways, he has him at 7. He's got Jamison Battle of Minnesota at 11, and then Tyler Wall at 15, which I think Tyler Wall's a weird one because I feel like last year he had a breakout. I know he's a freshman, but
he was overshadowed by Johnny Davis last year.
That's true.
I have no problem with him not picking an Illini, but to buy into the Chris Murray BS and not try to be different is so on brand for this clown show.
That's true.
God, what do you like? I understand Omarudi probably could break out. Yeah, I mean Rutgers probably not a very good roster this season in comparison to the last few years.
Yeah.
Fine, I can see that. Jamison Battle, yeah, he's going to break out on a Minnesota team that's going to be terrible. So very exciting. And like you said with Wall, he was definitely a guy that played well last season, and I guess he could break out in terms of like being the face of the team or being the best player on the team, which I thought he was in a lot of parts of last season, but Johnny Davis obviously overshadowed him. So yeah, it's so on brand for Andy Katz to be like, oh, everybody thinks Chris Murray's going to break out, so I'll just go ahead and jot him down number 1 because that makes a lot of sense because he really showed us last season how he's just like Keegan, the same player, right?
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
I don't think that they're even close to the same player.
I don't think people actually. I don't think the people who picked Chris Murray actually watched him last season.
I think they're just like, oh yeah, that's Keegan's twin brother. Let's
and he had like 3 good games last season, so now he's going to win National Player of the Year.
He just doesn't. He doesn't have the ball handling even close to his.
He's left-handed. That's the problem.
True.
It's a big issue.
The after practice press conference, I took most of this from the quotes from Derek Piper of 247. So give credit where credit's due, I guess. Brad said there's a lot of quotes here, so don't mind me messing up some quotes. But he said, quote, I think one of the things that's really got me excited about this group has been the drastic improvements from one day to the next. Now we're starting to stack days, good days, and that's really with quite big improvements. This group has been unbelievable in terms of their work ethic, their ability, the new guys to grasp what they're doing, and then to back it up with really good questions and a lot of film work. So he really likes the freshman. He really likes the way this team is right now. So he also said that they have a new starting lineup every day, which I thought was interesting. So he said, quote, trial and error in some areas. Everybody has been good. We have not had to teach them how to play hard or demand it. You can tell they're winners. But yeah, so do you think that there's a set starting 5? I know everybody keeps predicting it, but do you think that Brad knows what his starting 5 is? I know that he says that he's had a new one every time, but you gotta think it's somewhat set in stone, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably view there's like probably 3 locks, I would say, for the lineup. And I think that's Shannon, Clark, and Melendez, I would think, would be the 3 that I would almost guarantee they're in the lineup.
Yeah.
I should say Sky, by the way. It's way cooler than saying Clark, believe me.
It's true.
I don't know what this isn't really this is kind of a team where Brad can kind of make it his own team. He doesn't have one guy that's gonna stand out over others like Iowa and Kofi did. Yeah. That's not a knock on them, obviously, but this is kind of like a situation where he can make it. It's more similar to Stephen F. Austin, Oklahoma State, than what it's been in Illinois the last couple of years.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things that he's reiterated a lot is, the versatility. Everybody can guard everybody, length, things like that. So, I get maybe it's just going to be the 5 guys that are playing the best and most cohesive when the season starts gets to start. We might see 6 different lineups starting this year. Who knows? But it's a good problem to have on one hand. So he also reiterated how much of an elite athlete Terence Shannon Jr. is. He said, quote, maybe as good as we've seen at 220 pounds and speed. He said wide receiver type speed. It's fun to see him in the open court. Has Illinois had a 220-pound wing yet? So I don't know what Brad's comparing this to, but as good as he's seen. So he said that his pace, that Illinois' pace should help Terence Shannon Jr. a lot this year. He said, quote, think IO in transition type opportunities. So another out there with IO comparison. He's got speed. He's got that burst. He's very, very good and a very, very good athlete and strong. So I thought it was interesting in the media days. Hunter Dickinson was asked one player that he'd like to play with that's in the Big Ten, and he said Terence Shannon Jr. Of course,
I feel like there's a reason he said this.
Well, yeah, because Michigan couldn't get him in.
Exactly.
That's
and
the
he's
joke.
taking shots.
That's the joke.
Oh, he's hilarious.
You're supposed to laugh.
No.
Then he talked about the versatility of Matthew Meyer and Dane Danger. He said that with the transfers, he's trying to unlock different roles in them, changing into a new program. He thinks that it should help their game overall. Apparently, Meyer has already said he wants to be Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. So I guess he's shooting for that. He said on Meyer, quote, I don't think he was totally healthy throughout the course of the season last year. He's been extremely well coached, and he's a great teammate. He talked about getting his numbers up. His numbers last year were down slightly from the year before. Last year, he shot 41% from the field, 32% from three. The year before, Meyer shot 49% from the field and 40% from three. So they're trying to get him back there, get his confidence, I guess, to be able to put up those percentages. I did think it was interesting. He played 23 minutes a game last year. The year before, he played 16 minutes a game. So I think the big thing is he's going to be playing more with Illinois. So can he keep the numbers up with more playing time? Needs good decisions, things like that. Underwood said on him, quote, I think he can be a major impact in terms of what we're trying to do here. He said that Brad said that the defense is well above where the offense is right now. So that's good. He said that 95% of the mistakes are offensively. He said that, or 95% of the offensive mistakes are lack of communication. So, there's big concern about the way this team's going to gel. If they can get that figured out, Illinois should be good. If they can't, it might be a problem. So, let's see. I thought this was interesting. Derek Piper in his article with the interview or the press conference, he said that he thinks that the most likely three players to get time at point guard are Clark, Epps, and Rogers. You see Ty Rogers as a point guard?
No, I think he's like a 3-4. But I also don't really think that they're going to rely that much on one guy to do this job. I think we've talked about that. I mean, I think it's a lot. It's a lot to ask three freshmen to be your primary ball handlers, and I don't know how that's going to work because, if you're going to be asking three freshmen to be the primary ball handlers, then you might wonder why the offense is not going to gel early in the season. That could be a problem. But also, I've always expected the defense to be ahead of the offense going into the season because it's easier to figure out, especially when you have this much talent on the team, especially like defensive talent. Like Rogers is a great defender, Shannon's a great defender. So, yeah.
Well, and with Brad's offense, I mean, you don't really have, and we've talked about it, you don't have a primary ball handler. He runs a lot of motion offense, trying to get the ball moving. He did say they have sets where Coleman Hawkins might be handling the ball, where Terence Shannon Jr. might be handling the ball.
Coleman Hawkins.
So, yeah. Jay says, always hear how Illinois is so deep, and you somewhat see that a little when they play small non-conference teams. And then when you play good teams, you realize that's a lie. That was definitely the case last year. That's a great point. Everybody talked about how deep Illinois was last year, and then Underwood, I don't know if he didn't trust the freshmen enough or what. This year, I do think that they'll run 9-10 deep. 9-10, that seems a lot. 8-9 deep. We'll see.
11-12 deep.
Just play everybody. Get Lieb out there.
Yep. They're leaving the starting lineup against Eastern.
Underwood said that Epps was the leading scorer during scrimmage the first week. So that's good news. The guy that really, I mean, I know people are talking about him, but it's really been about Sky Clark. I know you're a big Epps fan. So kind of excited to see that. He did say that Sky Clark was out a few practices with concussion. And he said, quote, I think you're always a little leery of young guys in the backcourt, but they're really talented. So Coach Underwood says, do not worry, folks. Our freshmen are good. So media day was Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday. I don't know if it's 2 days. I don't know. Apparently they flew out a bunch of Illinois media guys. I guess our letter got lost in the mail. I don't know. Would have loved to be on that private jet, Brad, but that's okay. You know, we're just small time podcasters. I get it. I thought it was interesting. They had like a, Twitter, whatever. So, I can't remember who it was, but somebody asked Coleman Hawkins who would win in one-on-one between him and Terence Shannon Jr. And basically Coleman Hawkins said he can't go to his right. I just force him right. So I could beat him. So everybody now has the scouting report that Terence Shannon Jr. has no right hand.
Work.
But it is what it is. I thought it was interesting. Hawkins posted on Twitter. He's a big Bears fan. And he posted, dude trying to be a superhero, just get out of bounds, when he's talking about Smith Marset of the Bears fumbling on that last play, the last drive of the game. If you're an Illinois fan, you're maybe a Bears fan. Some of you might be Packers fans or something. I don't know.
Some of you might like
be
winning.
Colts fans. I don't know. You guys don't stay loyal to the state. I get it. So it's fine. All I'm saying is I don't want to see any hero ball from you, Coleman Hawkins. Let's play as a team, and
I'll take TSJ 21-5 in a 1-on-1. So
okay,
and he really is Io all over again, since he can't go to one side, and everybody's talking about that now. Oh, he can't. True. Io can't go to his left.
That's true. He's 100% Io now. Just
still a good player,
left-handed Io. So. And also, he's left-handed and Chris Murray's left-handed, but you're not hating on Terence Shannon Jr.
Well, Terence Shannon Jr. doesn't have all this overhype, because we've actually seen him be an elite player in a conference before that doesn't, the Big 12 is a big-time conference. But I will say this, Illinois is not going to need Terence Shannon Jr. to I'm not going to say break out, because we already know how good he is, but they're not going to need him to be like this, clear-cut best player on the team, lead the team and everything type player. Iowa might need that a little bit more than Illinois does. But also, we haven't seen anything from Chris Murray that tells us he's going to do that. All I saw from him was missing 2 out of 3 free throws down the stretch in Champaign last year.
Yeah, but I also think that Terence Shannon Jr. can be a leader without being the guy that has to break out. And that's what it seems like from everything we've seen, everything we've read. He seems to be the guy that's going to lead the team.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do it, give me the ball, get out of the way like we did with Io, but it's going to be nice to have that, because that's kind of the big question mark, is who's going to lead a team full of freshmen and transfers. So
breaking news for the Illini. Brad Underwood just tweeted that him and RJ Melendez will be on the Big Ten tailgate show tomorrow morning. So check that out. It says lot 31 at 10:15. So
what's that for? Football?
Sure. Yeah. It's gotta be.
No. Shout out to Illinois football. 5-1, should be 6-0. Minnesota homecoming game. kind of scared. You think Art Sitowski can do it for him?
That's the big issue here, I would say, especially as Minnesota's defense has given up less points than Illinois' defense. So,
Yeah.
And Illinois beat them last year in Minnesota. So
should be a good one. Jay says, "Don't remind me of the Bears game. Had Bears money line and the under. Ouch."
It was a big issue picking the Bears in the first place, and also taking the under in that game is a tough call when you have the Vikings offense who scores pretty easily. But
weren't the Bears weren't they getting like 10 points or something?
Yeah, I bet the money line was probably pretty high. Yeah, probably like plus 300.
All right, back to media day. Sorry, there we go again. Brad was asked about the NIL. He said that he loves it. He thinks it's long overdue. Thought it was interesting when Jay was talking about Kofi. Excuse me. Was talking about Kofi, and Drew Timme said that if he would have went to the NBA, he would have made anywhere between $200,000 and $500,000. It's already out there that he's already made $500,000 on NIL deals, so he can still make good money staying in college.
Well, I'm not saying Kofi was viewed as a player that was going to be successful in the NBA, but I don't think Drew Timme would have either. So, easy choice, especially like at a place like Gonzaga where you're pretty much guaranteed to be a 1 seed. So,
True. Kevin Warren during media days called Brad Underwood one of the greatest coaches in the country.
If I were Underwood, I would say take that back. I don't want compliments from you, you moron.
And then Brad Underwood was asked what Big Ten player he would want on his roster, and he said Connor McCaffrey.
Which one is that again? That's the dweeby skinny one that DeMonte is about to F him up?
Yeah, that's played for like 20 years. I honestly, until this came out, I didn't even know Connor still had eligibility. I thought he was gone. Yeah. So,
what a terrible pick, by the way.
He said, quote, he and I would have fun at a Pizza Hut parking lot with some opponents. He's a fighter. He's a tough guy. He tried to fight DeMonte, bro.
This ruins the Pizza Hut thing for me because this is so forced. I mean, he knows that people think that that's like a cool thing, so he just throws in there like, oh, this will sell some more Pizza Hut shirts. I mean, come on, Brad. We got to be better than this. And out of all the players you could pick, you pick this guy. And Fran's pissed, I'm sure. I mean, why not? Fran's got 7 more kids on the way for the team.
Fran's never happy. Yeah. He's got another senior. Is he a senior or a junior? I don't know,
but he's going to Iowa.
6'10". So. I don't know. Fran, how tall is Fran? Like 6'2"? He's got a bunch of
I think he's like
7 foot kids. It's impressive. Let's see. What else do we have here? Brad said, quote, I want a little bit of swagger. I want a little bit of cocky. We're really competitive on the court. We've had some chippiness, but it doesn't translate to the locker room. So when you guys are watching the games this year and Coleman Hawkins starts celebrating on something random and you're like, come on, Coleman, stop it. Just remember that Coach Underwood wants that. All right. So, and then the last thing I got here, your boy, actually my boy, Bruce Weber is joining the BTN. You excited about that?
Yeah, I mean, why not? They got a bunch of idiots on there now, so throw him in there. He knows.
I did notice that he cut his hair. So does that mean that Bill Self went to jail?
That's a good point. I mean, that's a good point. Maybe he gave up on that when he got fired from K-State.
I guess.
Did he get fired or retire? I mean, either way, it's the same thing.
Mutual retirement.
Couldn't handle Illinois embarrassing them in KC last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, there isn't a lot of idiots on the Big Ten Network. There's a few that I look at and I'm like, I don't really think this guy watches the games or is paying attention. And they know ball more than me, obviously, X's and O's wise. I don't really care about that as much as some of you losers out there do.
Whoa!
Yeah, that was a direct shot at you, but not really. Bruce Weber, he knows ball, right? So
yeah, he's a coach.
Weird
So
how he joined the Big Ten network after not being in the Big Ten for like the last 10 years.
that is interesting.
Says a lot about how he feels about Illinois still, I think, and the fact that he got hosed by getting fired.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Thanks to that AD. But yeah, but now we have Brad Underwood after going through the gross era. Thanks. Matt Norlander listed the top 15 jobs in men's college basketball. The Big Ten schools that were named were, I put UCLA on there because they're going to be a Big Ten school. Number 7. He put Indiana at 8, Michigan State at 11, and Michigan at 13. Of course, he didn't put Illinois on there because he wanted more mentions in his Twitter or something.
I don't think he's wrong.
I mean,
I think Illinois is like fringe.
If you look at it, my thing is like if you look at it from a like blue blood perspective, I guess. But what has Indiana done lately?
Well, it's pretty easy to recruit there. I mean, here's the thing. Archie Miller recruited pretty well there, and they still sucked. And Woodson's had some good recruiting as well. So I think that's the big thing with Indiana is that you can still recruit there pretty easily.
Okay, so this is my thing. Here's the rest of the list. He's got North Carolina at 1, Kansas at 2, Kentucky at 3, Duke at 4, which of course all blue bloods. Okay, I get it. Arizona at 5, Villanova at 6, Louisville at 9, Texas at 10, Gonzaga at 12. UConn at 14, Arkansas at 15. Here's my thing. He did a whole list of blue bloods, right? And then in this, he has like Arkansas, which was total crap until the Must Bus came in, right?
I think that's a bad pick, yeah.
So that doesn't make any sense. Texas doesn't make any sense to me.
What about Texas?
And then Gonzaga. I mean, if it wasn't for Mark Few, who cares, right?
But Gonzaga now, like if you're taking that job now,
sure, now. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So
but what is he based
kind of rubbed people wrong that he didn't list Illinois on here? Not that I think Illinois should have been on there.
Arkansas is a bad one because that's not a basketball school, and also Texas is just because they have a ton of money and a ton of resources.
That's true. Yeah.
It doesn't like they still suck. So and Louisville is like
Louisville's Louisville.
Yeah. It's kind of still a disaster there though. So
yep.
UConn, I guess, sure. Even though Dan Hurley can't actually really win in the tournament there, they've they've had some good teams and they did win 2 national championships that people forget about, I guess. But I think Villanova is a better job than Arizona. That's just me. Even though Jay Wright, obviously,
5 and 6. It's not like.
Yeah, but I would flip him. I mean, that's ridiculous. But I don't know is he basing this off of like if you were a free agent and what job would you want? I mean, obviously,
I don't know what he's basing it off of. I just thought it was interesting.
I think I would take Duke or Kentucky over North Carolina or Kansas. That's just me. Obviously, But either way, where's Nebraska? That's a great job. They should be top 15 for sure. Because remember, in football, everybody talks about, Nebraska's such a great job. Why? Because they were good 40 years ago? I mean, come on.
True.
Stupid.
True.
They were actually good like 15 years ago, but either way, I mean, come on. Who wants that job?
I agree. Anyways, on to some preseason rankings by the media and such. First thing I have down here is like the league media. So that's like guys that cover teams like Illinois, Penn State, other team, you know how it is. The consensus ranking has Indiana 1 with 19 first place votes. Illinois second with 6 first place votes. And then Michigan, Michigan State, Purdue, Ohio State, Iowa, Rutgers, Wisconsin, Maryland, Penn State, Minnesota, Northwestern, Nebraska, all the way down at the bottom. Illinois was ranked 11th by one media guy. He's a Penn State writer, beat writer. And he did post because somebody's like, "What is this guy doing?" And he posts that he has a love for Illinois. He even posted a picture of him in an Illinois shirt. He said he wrote a love letter to Io DeSumo and then ranked him 11th. So
Okay. If everybody on the team like quits, then yeah, they'll probably finish 11th.
yeah. So yeah. Anyways, I think Illinois had an 8th place vote, and then like a 6th place, and then
He should have just done what that AP top 25 guy did. I don't know what team it was last year where he didn't put them in at all, and he's like, "Oh, I pressed the wrong button." So yeah, it was like Gonzaga or something. Like he forgot to put them in the top 25.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
This guy might be a top 25 voter.
It was that's a bold take at 11th, but it is what it is. I thought this was a good quote from Brendan Quinn of The Athletic, who picked Illinois to win the conference. He said, quote, "Everyone agrees the league is wide open, comically so. For that reason, I'm going with the most on-paper talent here."
So that's a Michigan guy, right? I think he's a Michigan guy.
I think so.
Yeah, I think Illinois and Indiana probably have the most talent on paper. That kind of scares me a little bit, though, that your only reason for picking Illinois is because of the talent, because it's pretty clear that the most talented team isn't always gonna, make some noise. But the biggest factor for Illinois in the Big Ten this year is the fact that their schedule is easy in the Big Ten. Like it's really, really easy, and you got to take advantage of that because they have multiple opponents where they're only playing them once or they're getting them at home. Yeah. It's a very easy schedule. Their non-conference schedule is really not much either, other than the Vegas games will be a challenge. But outside of that, I mean, it's just going to be another 100-point win over Missouri, I'm sure. So
yeah, and their secret scrimmage is against Kansas. Is that right?
I don't know. Is Bill
you don't know?
Prison?
Where
Bill
are you?
Prison?
I
I think Weber's going to go in there with cuffs himself and take him.
And shout out to the guy on YouTube. I think his name is Robert, maybe. Daddy Brad apparently comes from Sleeper Media, and he corrected me in my ways. Said that as an Illinois fan, I need to know this, and I should know this. I don't know if that was meant to be like you're not really an Illinois fan because you don't know this, but I took it as him just telling me what it is. So that's what it's from, guys. Sleeper Media Podcast.
I think that's got something to do with.
I think they're Michigan State guys.
I know that they
apparently
do work
they call
with Field of 68.
Yeah, so that's why Field of 68 stole the line. I guess I don't know how that works.
Well, there's a whole connection there. They do stuff together, right?
Oh, and by the way, Big Ten Media Day. Jeff Goodman, I think, posted that it was awful to get to in Minnesota. So I can't wait for the Big Ten tournament to be there. And also, it is snowing today in Minnesota. Yikes.
Yeah, that reminds me of Colorado. It's probably snowing there too. I've been in Colorado in October with snow, so that's kind of bizarre. But because we don't really get snow here until like maybe in December, but usually January, February is really our zone. Or March or late February and March during the Pebble Beach program.
Tournament.
Yeah. Well, it's a very bizarre pick to have Minnesota as another site. Like if you were going to pick another city or surrounding area of a Big Ten school, I wouldn't even think about Minnesota because you have what right now? You have Indianapolis and Chicago.
Yeah,
I'd rather go back to
New
DC.
York once, right?
I'd rather go back to DC than Minneapolis.
I like Minneapolis.
It's
just such a good town. Yeah, everything's close. You should be there every year.
The NFL Combine is there as well. It's always a good hosting city, and they have like college football playoff games there. Let me just say this: Minneapolis in March, though, this is such a terrible pick. Like so dumb. I'd rather see them do it in like Lincoln, Nebraska. That's the only chance Nebraska has if it's in Nebraska. But they still don't have a chance. But
all right, these guys also voted on some other things. I'll just run over them quick. If you have some input, you can go ahead and input because you probably will on this one right here. Big Ten preseason player of the year. 14 first place votes goes to Hunter Dickinson. I think that's fair. Mm-hmm. Trace Jackson Davis was second with 13 votes, so very close. It could have been tied, but somebody voted for Chris Murray for Big Ten player of the year. So Preseason.
So stupid. God, like what? They made me forget about what I feel about TJD by picking Chris Murray.
That's
Which,
true.
I
Your
mean,
hatred to TJD
God.
just shifted to Chris Murray, didn't it?
I mean, there's like so many players I would vote for over Chris Murray. Like, it's not even like, oh my God. Was it the Penn State guy that took Chris Murray saying, like, I hate Iowa, but I think Chris Murray's really good?
I did not get a breakdown of these. I think Scott Ritchie's the one that posted that somebody voted 11th. So thanks, Scott. Big Ten preseason freshman of the year, number 1, Jalen Hood Schifino, of Indiana, had 16 first place votes. Sky Clark was second with 7. Then Bryce Sensabaugh of Ohio State had 2. And then Ty Rogers, Jet Howard, and Trey Holman were all tied for 4th with 1 vote.
Holloman.
Holloman, sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Big Ten preseason transfer of the year. Illinois takes the top 2 here. Terence Shannon Jr. at 1, Matthew Meyer at 2. And then Jalen Llewellyn of Michigan, Jameer Young of Maryland, and Dawson Garcia of Minnesota round out the list there. Preseason all Big Ten by these guys.
Jesus Christ. What is this?
Hunter Dickinson and Trace Jackson Davis were both unanimous selections. Zach Edey, Chris Murray, and Clifford, I can't say your last name, Amuri.
Are there any guards in the league? I mean, what is this?
You don't need guards on a team. I mean,
Let's just pick 4 5s and then a 4.
Just have Chris Murray going to the left all day long.
God, that is so bad.
Yeah, so nobody
I
to handle
forgot
the
Zach
ball.
Edey was still in the league. I forgot Zach Edey came back.
Wow, ouch.
Well, he hasn't been where everybody thought he'd be. He kind of sucks, let's be honest.
Okay, all right. Second team, Terrence Shannon Jr., Jamison Battle, Xavier Johnson, Chucky Hepburn, and Tyler Wall.
Are there any bigs in the league? I mean,
Tyler Wall being so low kind of surprises me.
I think Tyler Wall is going to have a better season than Chris Murray, and you can write that down.
I would. That seems fair to me.
So that's why they need a better criteria for this, because they have all bigs in the first team and then all guards on the second team. Like, you're gonna have 6'5" Tyler Wall playing the 5. I mean, it's just I know it's not
wrong.
Real. Like, I know they're not actually gonna play, but there needs to be a criteria where it's like 2 guards, 2 forwards.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're trying to pick the best 5 players instead of filling out a team. Yeah, I agree. I agree. You should. It definitely makes it weird when you have 4 centers on your all Big Ten team. But CBS Big Preseason Predictions. Have at it.
Big 10. I mean, come on,
Big 10 preseason predictions.
These were interesting. I think
it's the only thing Ethan did, by the way.
Yep,
he said he's been working on this so hard. This is all he did. Copy and pasted the CBS Big Ten preseason predictions.
I formatted this myself, okay? I just think that there's one specific hater of our team, and I'd like to talk about it for a minute. The consensus Big Ten
the guy from
rankings.
Penn State and him can go together.
Yep, and Andy Katz can go together for the opposite, just like loving every team. So, Nebraska's 2-20, but look at their really good roster. Look at that team. All right, 14-1. 14 Minnesota, 13 Nebraska, 12 Northwestern, 11 Penn State, 10 Maryland, 9 Wisconsin, 8 Rutgers, 7 Iowa, 6 Ohio State, 5 Michigan State, 4 Purdue, 3 Michigan, 2 Indiana, and 1 is Illinois. So these were based on consensus rankings, 5 different CBS sports writers ranking the teams, and then they, piled it together, right? I'm not surprised too much by this. Well, I will say I don't think Minnesota is going to be the worst team in the conference. I think Northwestern and Nebraska will defend their title in that regard.
Yeah.
I think Penn State could low-key, as the kids say, right? Could be like 8 or 9, maybe 10. I think Penn State's going to be very scrappy this season. And, I think Iowa's definitely going to – I would guarantee Iowa finishes 5th, 6th, or 7th because they're not going to be that bad.
Right. They'll find
even-
ways to win games.
And then Rutgers and Wisconsin, that makes sense, I guess, even though I think Wisconsin could be a little bit better than 9. And then they also had most overrated Michigan State, most underrated Iowa, which that doesn't surprise me at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you could pick any other 2 teams for that, except maybe you could say Wisconsin is underrated just because they got some pretty good players coming back. And, Greg Gard made up with Juwan Howard, so good for them, right? Very nice.
We're not really going to know the answers to those. I mean, a lot of people think that Indiana's overrated right now, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, considering the fact they really haven't done very much in the last few years, even with a good roster, even though this is their best roster.
Yeah.
I think they'd probably be 6th or 7th if TJD left. I would say that. And I think Michigan would be in the same boat with Dickinson. So you could say that about those teams. And then each writer, their individual ranking of Illinois, Norlander, who you went after earlier, he had him first. Kyle Boone had him first.
Did I go after him? Or
somewhat.
Okay.
Somewhat.
All right.
This Cobb fellow who I don't know had him second. Jerry Palm had him first, and then Gary Parrish had him 6th. The hell's wrong with this guy?
I did see that he said something like, if I told you that 1 through 6 are interchangeable, would that make you feel better? And I'm pretty sure everybody said no. So
what a moron. I mean, number one, didn't even have Illinois sniffing the top 25 in his rankings. So that's interesting. Number 2, he's a Mets fan, so he's probably still annoyed that they got embarrassed. I mean, what the hell is going on there? He's also he lives in Memphis, I think. So he likes Penny Hardaway. He's watched this podcast, probably realizes that we don't. So maybe there's a connection there. Maybe it's on us.
What do you think of Penny Hardaway getting an extension to 2028?
Brilliant.
Okay.
He can keep recruiting 5 stars and either losing them, getting them suspended, or still not winning in the tournament.
Amani Bates, by the way, is back on campus at Eastern Michigan. So
maybe James Brown will join him there next year.
Let's hope not. Let's hope he's not next year.
Well, he could reclass.
Oh, okay.
If he wants to play with Amani Bates at Eastern Michigan, then yeah.
That's true. He would have to reclass, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. Amani Bates will probably be there another 6 years or so.
Could be more.
Yeah, so I think that the preseason predictions by these guys, it seems pretty on par with most people. And I am under the agreement that like 1 through 6 are pretty interchangeable. I think it's just going to depend on who gets hot and who wins close games. So
I would actually say 1 through 3 are interchangeable and 4 through 6 are interchangeable. Because I think the top 3 teams are much better than the next 3.
Really?
I think, yeah. I think it's open, but I also think that Michigan, Illinois, and Indiana are a lot better than those other teams. I think Purdue's overrated as hell, I think. I would argue that them being the most overrated team. Why? Because they got Yao Ming back? I mean, come on, please.
He's got to be better this year, right?
You would think without Trevion there, he would step up, right? That's going to be a problem for them, though. They lost a lot, and I know Painter's a good coach, but he's not Fran McCaffrey, my friends. Okay, Fran McCaffrey can win with a little bit less.
Okay,
dead serious.
All right. Last thing we got, unless you want to talk about this more. Are you good?
Nope.
We're almost to an hour. I think you're running out of space to save stuff too. So this might not get saved, guys. You might miss this part of the show. Terence Shannon Jr. makes the preseason All Big Ten. This was a thing done by Select Media Panel. I don't know what that means, but sure. Good job. Terence Shannon Jr. actually made the first team on this. TJD was named preseason player of the year ahead of Dickinson in this. Him, Dickinson, and Edey all made it unanimously. Others on here, there's like, I don't know why, but there's like 10. Jalen Pickett of Penn State, Chris Murray of Iowa, Cliff of Rutgers, Malik Hall of Michigan State, Chucky Hepburn and Tyler Wall of Wisconsin, and Jamison Battle. So
a lot of Cliff talk today.
Why's he got to have such a hard name? I'm just going to call him Cliff O.
Why does he have to be the only good player on Rutgers? I think would be the better question.
I don't know. I think he's going to be really good too.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the only concern I have for Illinois is how they can defend all the bigs in this league because they don't really. It could be better though because it's not like Kofi was a world-beating defender.
That's true. He's just a big body.
And I think maybe I shouldn't be worried because if you look at the track record of what Illinois did against those bigs, if Kofi wasn't on the floor, it was much better. Like BBV guarding Edie, I mean that worked. So maybe they can make it work without Kofi full time.
True.
But shout out to Cliff and Chris Murray. Apparently, like maybe even better than Keegan Murray from what I've heard. So
that's true.
He's getting more of the preseason accolades than Murray Keegan did last season.
100%, which is crazy.
That is bizarre. That's a very bizarre thing for them to do. It's like everybody's buying into this, but it doesn't really make that much sense. I expect better of these people. I really do. So there you go.
Everybody's got to have a talking point. So,
I mean, Chris Murray had like maybe 10 games last season where he had double-digit points, maybe a little bit more, and a lot of those were against Longwood and Alabama State and Western Michigan.
He scored 30 against somebody, didn't he?
He had 29 against Indiana.
Okay.
Other than that, it's like, come on, he laid over and like listen to. Okay, this is inspiring. Okay, the guy that everybody's anointed as the next big thing. Here's how he played from March 6th last season to the end of the season. Against Illinois, he had 13 points, but he's 1 for 7 from the free throw line. 6 points against Northwestern, 9 points against Rutgers, 5 against Indiana, 8 against Purdue, and 3 points in the tournament against Richmond. He was 0 for 5 from 3. And he played 16 minutes. So, yeah, Fran really thinks that this guy's the next big thing. I mean, come on, give me a break. What a joke. You can't pick somebody because he looks just like his brother because they're twins. He's wrong-handed.
He's wrong-handed. I love that.
So, yeah, there's a lot of lefties in the Big Ten still. I mean, even after Illinois lost like every lefty possible, still got a lot of lefties. I think Jameson Battle's a lefty. Chris Murray, TSJ, TJD. How about that? A lot of lefties.
Is TJD left-handed?
Yeah, I think. Pretty sure he is. Dickinson's left-handed. I mean, come on. Everybody's left-handed. TJD's absolutely left-handed. If he's not, then I'm done watching. He's got
really? I guess I've never noticed.
Look it up.
Not
That's
that
probably
worried
not
about
worth,
it. Hey, somebody
probably
call
not
him
worth
out
looking
in the
up.
comments. Somebody call him out. Yeah, so good show.
Yep. Episode 118 this was. We'll have 119 probably what? Friday before the season starts?
Week before the season, yeah. Which
So-
we are what? Within 30 days? 20 some days away?
So they have
It's exciting.
is that a Monday start or a Tuesday start? November 7th.
7th? I don't know.
It's usually a Tuesday, but I thought this was a
Let me
Monday.
pull my calendar up here. Monday.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll try to figure out when we're gonna do some watch parties this year during games, and then we also have the episodes after games, all that stuff, right?
Yep. No
Episode,
more morning episodes after
119 will be a preview show. Also, we're gonna do an entire college basketball preview show in the next couple weeks on my Twitter thing, so that'll be good. Probably gonna get all the predictions right. So I don't think I could do 6 more minutes of this. We better hop off and.
Are you trying to drag this out?
No, I won't do that.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time in a couple weeks for 119 season preview. Be ready for that. Have your predictions ready in the YouTube chat during the show. So we'll see you next time for 119, and hopefully Illinois wins everything this year. And I don't have anything else to say, so bye.